before I go into 7.3, I want to review how, and you don't have to write this down, but real quickly, I want to review multiplying binomials. You know, when we had stuff like this, x plus 7, x minus 5. And I'm going to breeze through this because it is just a review from last chapter. What you're doing today is going to be doing the reverse of this. So you got to know some of the concepts. You know, we multiplied here, got x squared, cross multiplied, got plus 7x, minus 5x, and then minus 35. So we got x squared plus 2x minus 35. Another one, notice that these signs of the binomials are mixed. Okay, you want me to turn that light on? Let's see if it's better this way. Yeah. Okay. These signs, one's a x plus something, one's an x minus something. Okay. I'll give you another one of these just like this right here. X minus 10, x plus 2. So when we multiply these first terms, x squared, we cross and get negative 10x. We go to this 2 and cross and get plus 2x. And then a positive 2 times negative 10 is negative 20.
We can't see it.
Oops, sorry. Negative 20, right there. So you get x squared minus 8x minus 20. Now, that's when signs are different of the binomials. Okay, and there's a small pattern that's going to emerge here, and we'll explain it here in a second. When signs are the same, like if you're doing this x minus 7 and an x minus 5, okay, you're going to multiply this, get x squared, get a negative 7x, get a negative 5x here, and get a positive 35 here. So when we multiply x squared, you get a negative 12x, you get a positive 35. Okay, and I'll explain a couple of things right here. Sit up, Mater, thank you. X plus 10 and an x plus 2. So here you have some more like signs right here. A positive and a positive. Right up here, same thing. The signs were the same. Negative and a negative. So when we multiply this out, x squared plus 10x, cross get plus 2x, and then a positive 2 times a positive 10 is plus 20. Okay, and so I got
x squared
plus 12x plus 20. All right, here's the deal. This term right here determines the signs when we go to factor. Okay, so when I go to factoring on 7.3, that's what determines the signs of the binomials. And you'll explain this, or you'll understand this a little bit in better detail when we actually go through the rules. All right, here's what you're factoring. You're going to factor trinomials that are in this form. They're in this form: x squared plus bx plus c. Okay? So b stands for the middle term's number, and c stands for the last term's number, the coefficient or the constant term. All right? And it's going to tell you, it's going to say factor x squared plus 11x plus 24. All right, so I'm going to show you the steps right here. And I'm going to show you how you write your problem over here. Okay? And I'm actually going to rewrite your problem over here as we go through the steps. Here's the first step. The first step's easy. Write your parentheses. So if we have this x squared plus bx plus c, I'm going to write my parentheses because we're going to factor this into, x squared plus 11x plus 24. That's what I'm factoring, right? Yeah. I'm going to write my parentheses right there, okay? Because I'm going to factor it into two binomials. All right, step 2 is you got to determine your signs. Okay, and you determine your signs by looking at C. What's C in this problem right here? A positive 24 is what C is. Okay? All right, here's the rules. If C is negative, the signs of the binomials are mixed, which means one's positive and one's negative. Okay? Is C negative?
Positive.
C is positive. Okay, so there's another way. If C is positive, actually, if C is positive, it means the signs are the same. So it means that they're both going to be positive or they're both going to be negative. So you have to then look in at B to see if they're both positives or they're both negatives. So now B determines the signs.
Positive.
Okay, so if you look at this, we're looking at C right here. Positive 24, which says what?
They're both positive?
They're both the same. So then you have to look inside here to B. And B, if B is positive, that means they're both positive. So we're going to put the signs in here. So step 2, you know, if this is your problem, x squared plus 11x plus 24. You already had parentheses here. Put your signs in. In this case, they are both going to be positive. Now we're going to do several of these, so don't get lost in this explanation. I mean, we're going to do a bunch of them, and you'll know what we're doing here after several examples. 3, you got to put in the first terms of the binomial.
Can't see.
Okay. Okay, how you determine the first terms of the binomial is, okay, we already had the parentheses, we already had the signs. These terms right here is what we're going to put in. When you multiply these terms, it gives you the first term of the trinomial. It gives you this x squared. So what times what gives you x squared? X and x. It's going to be easy today. It's not going to be as easy tomorrow. Okay? It'll be a little more challenging. Okay, 4. You have to factor C. Okay, so here we are at step 4. We already have our parentheses. We already have our signs. And we already have our first terms. So we're going to factor C right here. C, 24 factors into 1 times 24, 2 times 12, 3 times 8, 4 times 6. All right. You have to find two factors of C that, and I'm going to put a colon here because there's actually 2 cases it could be. Okay, 2 different cases. If the signs are the same, like they are in this case, the 2 factors give you a sum of B. And I want you to underline same and sum, because that's the key. If the signs are different,
Did you say B?
a B, yeah. The 2 factors of C give a difference of B. Okay, now let me explain that, because it's not just a little confusing, it's a lot confusing. Now, if this is the first time you've seen this, it's a little bit difficult. Here's what you do. When you factor C, you look at your signs right here. They're the same, okay? So we're trying to find two factors in here, a group of factors in here, whose, since these signs are the same, whose sum is 11. So what two factors in here give you a sum of 11? 3 and 8. And since the signs are the same, it does not matter where you put the 3 and where you put the 8. Okay, now remember this thing right here, this FOIL? First, outside, inside, last, which I said, hey, we're not going to use that method, but we are going to use it in chapter 7. Here's where we use it. When you multiply these first terms, x times x, what do you get? Which is right there. Outside, you're going to multiply x times a positive 8. Positive 8x. Inside, we're going to multiply a positive 3 times x. Positive 3x and a positive 8x should give you this, 11x. And last terms multiplied together should give you this, positive 24. We just checked this. This is the answer.
Oh, that's how we check our answer.
Mm-hmm. That's how you check your answer.
Couldn't you also do it to set up for it since it's like the same setup?
The vertical method?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do it that way. You can do it that way. Okay, so let's go through some more examples. Because obviously, it's a little difficult to see that in that one example. Let's show you this. Again, it's going to just tell you to factor completely. It's going to say x squared minus 13x plus 40. So what was the first step that I told you? This is the easiest one and everybody can do it. Put your parentheses right there. Okay? Now you're going to determine your signs. What do you always look at to determine your signs?
So
C, right here. We're looking at this to determine our signs. Okay? If it's positive, it tells you they're the same. And this is positive. It's going to say, hey, these are the same, because a negative times a negative is going to give you a last term of a positive. And a positive times a positive is going to give you a last term of a positive. Remember these right here that I just did for you? Okay? Negative times a negative is going to give me a positive. Positive times positive is going to give me a positive. So if C is positive, it only tells you that they're the same. You're going to have to look inside here to B to see what they both are.
negative.
They're both negative. Okay? What's the third step?
X and X.
Right. We got to put in our first terms that when multiplied together give you this. So x times x is going to give you this. What's the fourth step?
You gotta find a factor
Factoring.
equal.
Factor of 40, 1 times 40. And you will write these 2 times 20, 4 times 10, 5 times 8. Okay, now we got to find a set of factors of 40 whose, since the signs are the same, they're both negatives, whose sum is this middle term of negative 13.
5, 8, 5.
What is it?
5 and 8.
8 and 5. And it does not matter if you put the 5 first or the 8 first. In this case, it does not matter.
Would it matter if both of them were positive and negative? I mean,
Yes, it will. Yes, it will. I'll show you one.
Yeah, I mean, couldn't you put positive in both of those and it would still end up the same?
No, because the middle term you'd get a positive 13. And that's not what you want.
So when
Yes,
showing,
it's a negative.
That's
Yeah.
right.
so showing our work, you want us to write down the factors.
I do. Yes, I do. Okay, let's show you this one. Let's show you one that has isn't exactly the same. X squared minus x minus 20. And let's ask you this question right here. What is b? What's b as a number?
1.
Negative 1. That's right. Okay, so we're going to do the parentheses. That's the first step, and it's simple. Okay, you're going to determine the signs by looking at C, this thing right here.
Negative.
Positive and one's negative.
One's positive and one's negative. To get a negative last term in a trinomial, one of these has to be positive and one of these has to be negative. Okay? And you don't have to look inside to B. I mean, if you know the terms are mixed, All right, if the signs are mixed, you can put them right away. Your next step is to put these X's here, and remember this is going to be a little more difficult tomorrow. All right, but we'll worry about that then. 20 factors into 1 times 20, 2 times 10, 4 times 5. Now, here's the deal. Signs are different. We got to find 2 factors of C whose difference is -1. Whose difference, not whose sum.
That's 4 times 5.
4 and 5. Okay? And we want a -1. So do you want a +4 and a -5 to get a -1? Or do you want a -4 and a positive? +4 and a -5. And you can always check this. First, like FOIL method, first outside, inside, last. First terms gives you this. Outside gives you a -5x. Inside gives you a +4x. So -5x and a +4x is what? -1x. Last terms multiplied together? -20. You got it. This is it. Pay attention. This one. Let me give you one from your homework because this one came up and was, it could have gone a different route here. I don't know if I can pick it out real quickly. Yeah, this one. T squared plus 10t plus 24.
14. Isn't it?
And I think I want to do another one right here. T squared plus 10t minus 24. We won't do them at the same time, but I want to see it. I want to show you some differences in these. All right. Let's look at this one right here. You can actually, well, we'll just go like we've done. You're looking at C right here. This is positive, which tells you what? It does not tell you that they're positive or negative. What's it tell you?
They're going to look at B.
Same.
They're the same. It tells you they're the same. So we're going to look at B to see what they both are. They're both what?
Positive.
They're both positives. Okay? You're going to have T and T up front here. Okay, we're going to factor 24. 1 and 24. 2 and 12. 3 and 8. 4 and 6. Okay, the signs are the same. So why can't it be 2 and 12?
Because
There's no minus, so it'd be a 12 instead of a 10. Because it's
Yeah.
positive. So if you had 6 and
Signs are the same, so you're going to find 2 factors here that give you a sum. I mean, this one is sum for that middle term. Okay, so it is 4 and 6. That's right. And you can check it, but, you know, I know it is because outside gives you 6t, inside gives you 4t, and then when you add those together, it gives you 10t. All right, but look over here when there's just a simple change of a sign. Okay? It's going to be mixed. One's going to be positive, one's going to be negative. So you have t here and t here. All right, you're going to factor this. 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. You're finding now, since the signs are opposites or different, you're finding 2 factors of 24 whose difference is 10. Difference. Okay? So, which 2? 12 and 2. -2 and a positive 12 gives you a positive 10. Okay? So be careful. Okay? If the signs are different, those factors of C have to have a difference of that middle term.
okay,
The
so
signs are the same, they have to have the sum. Yes?
So if it's a negative and negative, then it changes to a positive. And if it's one positive and one negative, then it's a negative.
Right, that last term is, yes.
And then the 2
Right, that's right. Whip out your homework. Let's try some of these. Yes, sir.